Hello and welcome. I am your host of What Are You Reading? What Are You Writing? Author Karen E. Osborne. I have five novels out. The latest is Justice for Emerson. I am so glad that you're here. This is a space for readers and writers to come together and talk about books. I am delighted to introduce you, fantasy writer L.N. Passmore, who, known to her writer friends and others, as Jenny.
Right.
Hey, Jenny.
Hello. Good to see you, Karen.
Oh, I'm so glad that we could do this. We had a couple bumps, and so I'm just so glad that we were able to
Yeah.
find a time and to sit down and really talk about this intriguing series that you have with just so many wonderful reviews. I've been reading the reviews of the book as well. This is going to be fun.
Yes,
So,
I think so too.
yes. But before we dive
Mhm.
into your fantasy world,
Yeah.
would love to hear about your writing journey. So you've been writing for a long time, right?
Yes, I have. Yeah. Used to teach in universities and yeah, did that kind of writing, articles, etc. I did some theater reviews and published those in newspapers. But as I got to the end of all that, knew I wanted to get out of academic life, and I thought, where do I want to go? Well, I want to go out in the woods. I want to go into the mountains. I have adopted a wolf pack out in the Sawtooth Mountain wolf pack a long time ago, the Wolf Education Research Center. Eventually, I got to go out there and visit where the wolf pack was. So I've been in love with wolves for a long time, did my little bit to support them. And my other big love is United Kingdom, mostly Scotland. And so I've gone over there and thought, wolves and Scotland and some of the great fantasies I used to read when, I could please myself. Tolkien and Patricia McKillip, The Forgotten Beasts of Eld, all those kinds of wonderful things. Coordinator Smith, and so they showed me you can have a luxurious mental world, and and if you are careful with the plotting and all that, you can make even wolves take on human dimensions. So that's
Wow. All
part of that
right.
process.
So now you have got everybody intrigued. So tell us the premise. And so there are two books in this
Right.
series, right?
Mhm.
So tell us, let's look at the beautiful covers. They're just
Okay.
gorgeous.
Okay. This is
So
Wayward Wolves Beware. Is that showing up okay?
yes, it is. It's showing up
Okay.
perfectly.
Yeah.
And that's the first book.
Right. And it got nominated for, or it was shortlisted for the Chanticleer International Fantasy Series. Well, so the premise is that wolves are the natural caretakers of the ecological chain. And,
Mm,
yes, they are predators, but when they are active and not being gunned down by people, they are keeping all the environment in balance. And even out there in the West, when in the national forest right now is escaping my brain, but when let the wolves came back, all the whole territory flourished. Birds came back,
mm,
everything was really good.
mm.
So since I
Hmm.
fell in love with Scotland the very first time I ever saw it, I thought, yeah, I began to do research on what was going on over there, and this whole Celtic flavor. My Passmore name is a old family name, and there's an Irish background. So these two brother wolves um, have put upon them the task to save the garden fortress of the Fair Ones, Lisna Fair, from two desperate enemies that are actually opposed to the green life and the balance of nature. And
Mm.
they They're not happy. They don't even know that at first, but it's revealed to them very soon. And the problem with Kalar, who just wants to hunt and be real he-manish, and his brother, Sansi, wants to sing, and he'll take every opportunity to sneak away and follow the fairies and listen to their songs because, oh, what a wonderful thing. And he desperately wants to be the greatest wolf singer because, we listen to wolves howl, and it's a great mystery to people like, what's going on with that? What are they saying? What's in those songs? And all kinds of research has been done on the intricacy of wolf howling and the kind of information they're
Mm.
passing back and forth. So, the first book gets them to the point where they have been through some trials and tribulations and have got the rough edges off of them. Kalar has to learn that he's very rash, terribly rash, and
Mm.
strong-headed, so rash that he falls into this underground sort of pit where the ramhorn dragon lightworm is there, and he bites the dragon. And the dragon is like, "What a stupid thing to do!" How stupid! And poor Santi is going, "Oh no, 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 no! This is terrible." So by the end of the story, their high wolf pack, of their wolf pack, Akir, their sire, has said, he's not going to put up with wolves like this. No, 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 no. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. And unbeknownst to all of them, in a place called Scanlan Hollow, is a human family, and the wolves refer to humans as cutters because their all experience of humans where they just go around and cut things. They cut down the trees, they cut down the plants, they cut each other, they cut us, and they really want to stay as far away as they possibly can from the cutters. But then we find out that Freyan down here in Scanlan Hollow is a necromancer. And he believes that
Is
the fair
a
necromancer, he's a black musician, magician. He deals in evil forces,
okay.
and he has conjured a demon that the Scots refer to as Big Ears, but I call him Scragtail because Scrag means something terrible and ominous and bad. And of course cats have tails, lions have tails. So Scragtail has a barbed tail that is poisonous, and
Mm.
the poison is gathered, and Freyan sends his minions up to where he thinks the fairies or the fair ones have their gold apples. They're actually golden apples. They're not gold,
Mm.
but in this process, Anel, the mother of these two wolves, is killed. And now, and
Mm.
now, it's up to them to deal with this. And to do that, they have to break away from their pack and fulfill their vow to fight their two enemies. And that's how the first book ends.
First book ends. Yeah.
And the
Wow.
father says to them, if you ever think you're going to come back to our pack, be prepared for a fight.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So that's the cliffhanger of the
Hmm.
of the of the first book. And before we move to the new one, which
Yeah.
is just coming out, which is so exciting, tell me a little bit about the world building. I'm always so fascinated with fantasy writers. I mean, all of us authors have to world build,
Hmm.
but not like you guys have to. And so what was your process like in building the world? You were watching the wolf packs that you found and were
Hmm.
supporting, and you knew a lot about Celtic mythology.
Yep.
How did you pull those things together and build a world? And did that take a lot of time?
Yeah,
And
it does take a lot of time.
hmm,
Well, one of the things I did physically was go to Scotland and went over to the West Coast, Argyle, and to a place called Applecross. And I drove white knuckle roads all over the Highlands. And there's this pass that takes you from Skeeldag on the coast over into Applecross, which is right across from the Isle of Skye. And it's the Pass of the Cows, and it's the highest, at one point, the most dangerous road, single track road to drive in the United Kingdom. But in order to get to Applecross, where I needed things, that's where I decided it had to happen, I had to
Mhm.
drive that.
For
And
yourself?
so, anyways, I spent a lot of time. I've been over to Scotland maybe 5 times, and it's just the air, the green, the light. The light, they refer to the Scots and the Irish as Lords of Light, and there's something really magical about that. So, I did a lot of reading on the ecology and all of that, and did more reading in about Celtic fairies and fairy lore and all that, and a lot more reading on the wolves and
How
how
long
they
did it?
communicate. Hmm?
Yeah. So, um, did you write as you went along, or did you just research before you started writing? How did that part work out?
I would say it was simultaneous. Now, like when I was over there the first time that I was doing all this driving by myself, I had notebooks and I would write, lie down in bed and write, and then take a lot of pictures. And at that time, I was very much just beginning the actual writing of the book. And in fact, after I finished the first 400 pages, I took a look and realized that the human beings had taken over the story entirely, and I
Oh,
just threw them away. Just threw that out. And I thought, it's so typical of people trying to take over the wolves. So then
yes.
that's when I said, okay, I'm going to have these two brothers, and they're going to have their own problems. And they finally worked their problems out at the end of the second book.
Let's talk. All right. So let's
Okay.
pause there for a
Yeah.
second. So now you have this new book, and you don't
Hmm.
want to give everything away
Yeah.
about the new book, but so now they're cast out and they're trying to save the world. And tell us just a little bit, give us a little taste of the
Okay. I
book.
just,
Let's look at it. Let's
yeah.
look at it. Wolves Wage War. All
Yeah.
right, that's
The two
very
creatures in
ominous
the
looking.
center are their two enemies. Okay. So they're the fairy queen and king, and they're like multi-dimension. All these fair ones can shape shift into different animals, and
Mm.
there's the Lord of the Green and the Lady Light, etc. Anyways, they give them a chance to back out, and Kaylor and Son says, "Hey, no, we're going to do this." So then, all right, since they've decided they're going to do this, they have to be initiated, and the initiation is dangerous. And one has to do with dealing with the dragon, the ram horn dragon lightworm, who he uses the venom in his fangs as an antidote because he knows Santi is going to face poison.
Mm.
And then Kalar has to have his time with the last giant left alive after the Wolf Wars, Lone Grumley. And he's taken and he has his time with Lone Grumley. And um, it's a pretty frightening and painful moment of initiation. And
Mm.
but he survives. And the giant does this because he had been there at the original Wolf Wars years and years ago. And he said, if I do this to you, it may give you several seconds when you're fighting Wolf. and you might have the edge because he scars him. He burns him on his snout, and it's going to be a triangular sign. So they get through their initiation, and then they begin some extensive training with Sansi learning to sing with unsound, sound that cannot be heard, because he's going to have to transform himself, shapeshift himself from wolf into looking human,
Wow.
because that's the only way he can make contact with the enemy, the two magicians, the necromancers who are conjuring a demon. And Kalar is also told that he has to have a warrior song, and he has to go, and he doesn't said, oh, that's foolishness. He's a warrior, right? But he has to have a ward song. So he goes through a
Mhm.
lot of processes. And in this whole telling, when they finally come to their great moments of combat, all the stars and the underworld come together. So you have the Wolf Star and Wolf Guard and Lightworm and the other world, the Celtic other world gets involved with magic boars and all kinds of celestial creatures that are all coming together because, yeah, we want to save the world. We want to save Lisna Fair, the garden
Wow.
fortress.
Wow. Well, that sounds very, very exciting. Age group would you say the books are aimed at?
I would say that the first book is, since it's the beginning of the wolves' lives and the pups are growing up, I would say this is young adult, 12, 15, even older. I mean, adults do read fantasy and they do,
Yes.
they
Yes.
do, you know. I was once told by an author that nobody likes talking animals. And I went, oh, I wonder what Rudyard Kipling would think of that, you
About
know?
that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And one
So,
of my
but
favorite books is Watership Down, The
yes,
Rabbits.
yes.
I remember reading that to my kids. That was the last book they let me read to them. Then they said, Mom, we just would rather read to ourselves. I mean, I know you like doing this, but we're kind of done with you reading to us. It
But
was
you
so,
provided the bridge. Yeah.
after that, they read that was our last book as a family that we read.
Oh, that's a
We read
great
to
book.
each other. So yes, so talking animals, and I can't imagine why people wouldn't. Of course, people like that. Of course, they like that. So now the book is this new book and this new adventure. And you were saying the first book was younger, skewed younger, but this
Yeah.
one skews a little bit older.
I think so because the rites to conjure the demon are not pleasant. I do not ever like what I think is called violence porn. I don't like
Mhm.
to do that. But there is definite danger, and I don't spend much time on it, but I allude to what must go on to conjure this demon. And you can never trust demons. They're terrible.
Mhm.
And people will do desperate things because they think they'll get what they want, and it's never, ever, ever works out. So I would say this is more 15 and older.
15 and up. And as we know, adults love all kinds of fantasy
Yeah,
and a good story, just a good story, right? Good
yeah.
storytelling. Well, this series sounds awesome. And let's just show them one more time.
Yeah,
Let's just look again so everybody can remember. Wayward Wolves Beware.
yeah,
And the second one is Wolves Wage War.
yeah. There. Oh,
So
there. Yeah.
there it
Okay.
is. Beautiful. And so,
Thank you.
Ginny, this is called What Are You
Oh,
Reading?
yeah.
What are you writing? So I wonder if you have some recommendations for our audience.
Yeah. This is just the latest three, and I've got the what's it called when you write? Oh, I've got reviews done on them both. So this one, this is up your alley. This is murder mysteries and
Mhm.
a crime mystery, Nagler's Secret by Michael Stephen Daigle. He is an award-winning journalist, was a journalist in all over the East Coast, mostly New Jersey, for 40 years. And then he started writing this series. This is, I think, the sixth in the series. And I want to tell you, as I was reading this, he's a beautiful writer, a really
Mm.
beautiful writer. And it's
Mm.
character driven. And Nagler has been a hero forever. But in this one, he has a secret. And I can't sit down and read everything at once. I don't have that kind of time. So I just thought, oh, I do not want to turn the light out. I want to keep reading. I've got to find out what this person's secret is because I've fallen in love with this detective. He lives in a New Jersey town, a fictional town called Ironton. And for anybody who has experienced the Rust Belt on the East Coast or across the country, this is a man who's trying to keep it together for the people he loves. So,
Oh, beautiful. Well, we have time for just one more.
okay, this is Soul Search by Raina Favis. She's a PhD biologist and was a canine rescue person, and then decided, well, she was going to start writing novels. And this is the first in her series. She's a bestseller on Amazon. And oh, another really fine writer. But this Zaki is a dog that has sort of paranormal ability, and they're going in and they're into North Carolina, into the mountains, and helping people who are being harassed with all kinds of spirits and things like that. And so they're really
Right up your
rescuers.
alley.
Yeah,
Right up
yeah,
your alley.
yeah.
Well, this has just been delightful, absolutely delightful, Jenny. L.N. Passmore. I am so very glad that you were able to join us. Tell our audience. So, people, you can find her books on Amazon. You can find them in Barnes and Noble. You
Right.
can find them in your local independent store. You can find
Yes,
them in the library. And if you don't see them, you know what to do. Just ask,
that's
and
right.
they will order it and they will get it. But how can they be in touch with you?
Okay. I do have a website, lnpassmore.com. And yeah, and on Facebook. On Facebook, it's the author's page, just LN Passmore. You get to Facebook and you just go LN Passmore, and you can go and see where I post things. And I really probably am a much better writer than I am a communicator in that I have not yet joined all the social media that is recommended. But once I get my this next book launched, then I'm going to be better at opening up social media.
Yeah. Well, Facebook is a great place for us to be, but since your audience skews younger,
Right.
you
I
know,
know.
yeah, for people who like me who write for older people, then Facebook is perfect. But you want to get those young folks, you need to be on the social media that they are on.
And
So that's
I will take your word, yes, and I will work on that. I promise.
excellent. Excellent. I want to thank all of you for watching. I know that you've enjoyed this conversation with Jenny, with L.N. Passmore. And I hope that when you find her books, you will read her books, you will review her books,
Oh,
because you
that would be
know
nice.
how important reviews are for us. They make such a difference. It could be one line, loved it. And that's all we need. And then when you're in touch with Ginny on social media, please tell her that you met her on What Are You Reading? What Are You Writing? See you next week, everybody. Bye.
Bye bye.